Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 ba. We're here. We are here. Glenda, hello.
Hello, Mr. Nick. How are you? I'll call you Mr. Nick, or do you want me to call you Rev Nick? What do you want to be?
Call me whatever you want, whenever you want, and however you want, love. I really don't.
I didn't know if we're allowed to do that.
Not very often I say that to one of the ladies. Good to see you, my love. I'm wonderfully, wonderfully well. How about you?
Yes, perfect. Had an awesome weekend here over in Australia. My hometown had the car races, the V8s.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Interesting.
Excellent stuff. And I just did a workshop yesterday, which was all good fun, and everyone had a whale of a time, and we had hot dogs. I did do vegetarian too. I did do vegetarian ones too. But yes, so busy with Spirit, of course. Everyone seems to have been a bit busy recently with Spirit, which is always great news. But welcome to your first show as a full-time host.
Thank you. I've just got to wait for Richard to do our nice little graphics. I'm still waiting on that.
It's probably partly my fault, considering I haven't sent him an updated photo, because it would be probably a breach of advertising to show me looking that young. And that the wizen age has kicked in, so I really do need to update that. So yes, for everyone watching, the great news is that Glenda has decided to join the Start Your Day hostage. So she is now a permanent co-host of this show. So please give Glenda your love and your welcomes. She is no longer the frequent special guest. She is a permanent host. And I am so deeply pleased and honored to have you. Going to say, as Richard quite rightly points out, it's nice to actually have someone who's prepared to talk to me. She's definitely got the gumption for that. So I absolutely think that it is a wonderful way of moving this show as it's part of SPTV and all of what it wants to achieve as a show forward by having your voice, your mediumship, your thoughts, your soul as part of the makeup and the thread of DNA that runs through it as well. So, there's a hint to something that will be coming up a little bit later, that thread of DNA. But of course, we must begin, as always, by saying good morning to our guests who are watching both live and not live, but in the future. If you're watching from the past, I don't know how you've done it. Please let us know. But if you are, of course, watching, you are welcome. Thank you for joining both of us. Please remember to share, to like, to subscribe. And if you're interested, become a VIP. It's only 33p a week. It is so worth it. There's so much which we're going to be talking about little bit later going on SPTV that is part of the VIP framework. So it is something really, really worth it. So do that. But for now, please share. We want as many shares as possible. And if we get 50 shares, we will invite one of you lovely people, and you don't have to be a VIP, to come on screen with us and get a reading a little bit later on, live in front of the whole universe. Because I'm sure there are people out there that will pick up this stream in a couple of hundred light years thinking, what are they on about? We knew this already. So, exciting times, of course. And don't forget to please share. But for now, Glenda, let's say hello to the fam.
Thank you. And there's Claire, Heavenly Sprinkles, is saying congratulations, well done. Thanks, Claire. And we had Stace as well, congratulating me as well. How exciting. Yes, it's exciting. I'm part of the family.
There is definitely no love like SPTV love. It is amazing and a wonderful community. Just like Kelly Hennessy, good morning with your sun-shining rays.
Oh, we got Sarah Weston. Morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show, Sarah. And we've got Shawana Foster with Hearts and Stars, all wonderful, shining bright. Welcome to the family.
Morning. Claudette, hello. Hi, Glenda and Nick. Happy Monday.
Indeed, with shining faces and prayers and butterflies. It's amazing. Regan, long time no speaksies. Love Monday nights with Nick and special guests. And of course, we have got a special guest coming up soon. More about that in a minute. But morning to you, Regan.
Oh, here's my Lisa. Hey, Lisa, how are you?
And Beverly French, another one watching in Australia. We are truly a global phenomenon.
Awesome. Lacey Lawrence. Hey, Nick, Glenda, and Richard.
Good morning, Lacey. Kim Byrne, good morning to you, my lovely. Welcome.
Morning, Kim. Nicola. Hello, Nicola. Morning, Nick, Glenda, and Richard. Morning, Nicola.
Welcome along.
Yeah, he's going to start singing. Here we go.
For reminding me of the Phenomenon song. Nadia in Belgium, good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nadia. What time is it in Belgium?
Must be probably around about 12 o'clock, I would have thought. Tell me if I'm wrong, please. And Nikki Scholes, good morning to you too. With lots of...
Hi, Nikki. Ellie Spooner Payne. Hello, look at that beautiful rose. Welcome, Ellie.
Welcome. Rebecca Whelan, good morning to you, my honey bunch.
Hello, Rebecca, and thank you for liking my page, Rebecca. Got a couple of SPTV followers jumping on my page. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And lovely Nolene.
Hey. Okie dokie. And of course, Sherry Ann, congratulations to Glenda, and so many congratulations to Glenda. They are both proud, joyful, and also worried for your sanity that you would agree to spend your... and we have got so much to get through. So as the keeper of the list, because I'm always the one who sticks the pen to paper, save everyone else the job. We've got so much going on today. We have got a special advert coming up about a VIP show on Thursday. We've got the lovely Kate May's Tarot Scope coming up. We have got adverts about what's all going on during the week and from today. On the lovely world of SPTV. We've got an announcement about a special event happening on the 9th of September. And of course, we've got a wonderful special guest joining us in a moment. But first of all, we should really talk about this special event that is coming up on Thursday. Because we're going to be there, aren't we?
Yes, after what you guys did to me last week, yes.
So for those that were watching last week, we had a wonderful guy on relating to hypnotherapy, and the wonderful David Carson. He was so energetic and so much fun and so full of life. And I know everyone welcomed him so beautifully well. So much so, he's going to have a special Thursday, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's coming back on Thursday for our special VIPs. And I tell you what, David actually sent me one of his, what do they call them? Subliminal? I can't even say.
Yeah.
One of his meditations to help me get off to sleep. And it's fantastic. So if you are having any trouble sleeping or anything like that, reach out to David. He is fantastic with creating those sort of sounds, and he lets you pick if you want the ocean, if you want water running. I don't like the water running. It makes you want to go to the toilet. But, yeah, the ocean waves are more relaxing. So, yeah, he's fantastic. And we will be having him come back on Thursday at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. for you and 11 a.m. for those in the UK and
That's
everywhere in
right.
between along that particular scale. So that's going to be a VIP event. And I believe we've got a little bit of an advert.
Wow, I can't wait to see it. Richard's been busy.
Richard has been extremely busy. So here we go. He's rolling VT.
Roll it, Richard.
In a moment.
This coming Thursday from 11 a.m. UK time, Spiritual Communication and Hypnotherapy Taster. This special VIP event is hosted by Nick Brown with guest Glenda-Marie and David Carson. For more details, please visit the VIP lounge. If you want to become a VIP and join in with our special events, then visit sptv.uk.
Exciting, isn't it?
I am excited.
It is brilliant, and I've got to say that the number one conversation of the week since last Monday for me is, I cannot believe your face. You were so in yourself. It was hilarious because I'll be honest with you. I sat there and I was like, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Oh my God, it's happening. What the? And everyone was just messaging me saying, your face said it all. Oh my God. Oh my God. So I was like, well, stand by, announcement on Monday. And it really is going to be exciting. I am so looking forward to it because I get to spend another hour or so, maybe more, with your good self as well as David. And
we're frozen. And we're back.
We're back. So yeah, it's really exciting. So if you are interested, obviously follow the instructions, get involved, join in, become a VIP. I will say that more, but of course it's so exciting, and I really do look forward to helping. I do look forward to helping people with yourself and David on Thursday. Shelley, we are, of course, sending healing and love. There has been an incident at Shelley's son's school. It's in lockdown. I'm so glad your son is okay. And we do, of course, join in sending healing love to everyone involved. And I know that I don't need to ask, but everyone who is watching, please join in sending that loving healing too. You know, healing is vital to everything we do. I always describe the three cornerstones of spiritualism, the mediumship, the philosophy, and healing as being very interlocking. They all do one of each. So healing and mediumship are forms of mediumship. Philosophy is a form of mediumship. Mediumship, the mental communication, and the philosophy should be healing. And sometimes we forget that, but healing really is at the center of everything. So please do send your love and thoughts out. And we are thinking, of course, of you and your son and everyone involved. Shelley, drop me a message when I'm finished later on, and we'll have a chat if you need to.
You'll be in my prayers tonight, and everybody there.
Absolutely. So send your thoughts, everyone. And of course, healing is, as I said, quite vital, and it's almost like a thread of DNA that runs through everything we do. And I know someone else who's very good at weaving threads of DNA through the work they do, because I've been spying, and that is guest this week. So everyone at home, please give a big welcome as we join by Bryony Best, author of The Girl from Pompeii, among others. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is where you're watching. Hello, Bryony.
Hello, Bryony.
Hello, how are you?
Not so bad yourself.
We're great, yeah. How are you?
Good. I'm brilliant, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Always. Really looking forward to today. And I know Glenda has been doing the same as myself, stalking you over the weekend and working out how much we can afford and how many books we can buy at once. But welcome to start your day, start your week, and everything in between. Thank you for coming on. For those that have not had the opportunity to stalk you, who are you? What's your name, and where'd you come from?
My name is Bryony Best, and I was born and raised in Portsmouth.
Wow, fabulous, fabulous. Well, the one of the things that we've talking to you about today, of course, is the writing that you do, the books that you've got. You are an accomplished author, shall we say, putting it mildly. And in particular, we've been looking, obviously, at The Girl from Pompeii. What is that all about?
What, the books in general or the title?
In particular, let's start with, in particular, what's The Girl from Pompeii about, and then we'll kind of feed on to the themes that run through them all, I believe.
Well, I am the girl from Pompeii.
It's Pompey, not Pompeii.
Pompeii.
I was
Oh, I'm
Pompeii
sorry.
too.
Well, this is the thing about me being able to read. I do apologize. Pompey.
Pompeii is a completely different book, but it is a very successful one at that. Yeah.
I do apologize. See, this is why I'm always told to read things phonetically, because I just see things and the mind fills in the blanks. I do. So it's The Girl from Pompeii. I've been going around telling everybody that it's The Girl from Pompeii. It's The Girl from Pompeii, and they've been looking at me a bit funny, and now I know why. Right. Oh, it's Portsmouth. Oh, yeah. The penny's dropped. Look, I'll just shut up. You keep talking.
Pompey's actually came from, it's the shortened version of Portsmouth from the Navy time. So hence why we say Pompey for short, but actually obviously it is Portsmouth. But if you're not from Portsmouth, you may not know that that's what Pompey is.
Thank you for that, Bryony, for your absolute understanding, which can be more than can be said for that magical voice in my ear who's having absolute fun at my expense right now.
I think he's got tears running down his face laughing at you.
I think yes. I do apologise. So, from The Girl from Portsmouth, also known as Pompey, what is it that you put into your work? That what is the reason behind you doing what you do? Basically, in its core, that got you started off, I suppose.
Well, to share all of my experiences, knowledge, what I've learned, the ultimate goal is to help others and to help others heal. That would be the very short version, to help others with my experiences.
Absolutely. So let's unpack it and unshorten it, because it's always nice to have a good start. But when we were talking before, we were discussing obviously about healing and trauma and turning negatives into a positive.
Yeah.
How vital do you think that is in any way of life, let alone spiritualism?
I think it's essential to developing and to moving forward, and to actually if you look at everything as a learning experience, then you're able to take the positive from that experience and then actually move forward with it. If you look at everything as this is happening to me, not something that you are actually going through, which implies there is another side to it as well, or that you're going to get through that other side, then straight away that experience is going to be negative anyway. So I think even if you take spiritualism out of the equation, anything in life, you have to look at it as it's a learning experience. And you don't hear anyone turn around and say to you, oh, I got here absolutely fine, there was no traffic, everything was brilliant, fabulous, because that's not what they've learned from. It's the ones who say, I got a flat tire and I had to phone the AA, and then I phoned my mate Rob who come to pick me up. It's all of those type of barriers that we have to overcome that we learn, and then we get ourselves a little toolbox of how to get over these experiences, and then we can pass those on to our friends, our family, our children. So I think it's essential to look at it that way for every experience in life.
Hear, hear. Here. It's a bit like learning from your mistakes, like
Yes.
I don't know, comparing an extinguished volcanic town to a major port on the south of England.
Yes.
It's a mistake I'll never make again.
Yes.
And I know, Glenda, you were having a look over the weekend at Bryony's work as well.
Yeah, it was very interesting, some of the things that I read. And of course, I haven't read the books, and I'm really looking forward to grabbing, a couple of your books, because they just, it sounds so intriguing. And it's a lot of the stuff that people don't talk about that you wrote about.
Yes. Yes. It's funny you should say that, because one of the undercurrents, or one of the themes that I'm trying to do with my books, is to make it common practice to talk about these things. And when I do open up to a group and I am doing a speech or I'm doing a mentoring session, and I start sharing personal details of stuff that people usually keep behind closed doors, it's amazing how people respond to me. They'll come and find me, and then they'll open up to me as well. So I want to get rid of the stigmata. I know there's a big push at the moment for mental health anyway, and talking about it and reaching out and getting the help you need. But I feel like that needs to be around everything. People feel like it's a dirty word to say that. I say I'm an alcoholic. I am an alcoholic. I am a drug addict.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, we did just briefly have a little bit of feedback, so I do apologise to everybody. We will monitor it and see where that's coming from. We'll fix it as soon as we do. Yeah, I completely. One of the things that we were talking about before that I know I'm not going to mess up is this thread of DNA of spiritual and spirituality and spiritualism to an extent within your books and within your writings, which is still quite a unique thing, because it would be fair to say that your books are not. Here we go with the feedback.
No.
My screen is showing up that it's coming from your end, Glenda. What you're with.
Is that better?
That's yes.
Is that better?
That may have been it. We're there.
Better?
Fingers crossed. So yeah, when we get books on spiritualism and spirituality, that's the focus. It's always the focus, but it's still reasonably rare, and I'm not saying never done before, but it's still reasonably rare to find a book that is about something general in terms of life, with the thread of DNA of spiritualism and spirituality within it, so that it makes it more accessible to people that may have not been interested in it before, or have been in actual fact put off by preconceptions of this way of life, showing that we are quite normal human beings in spite of what they would think. Was that your intention? Were you aware that it might be something unique when you did it, or was it just a case of this is what I do and this is what I'm going to do, go for it?
No, if I'm honest, I mean, my inspiration for writing the books was through meditation. The spirit world obviously gave me the inspiration, said you need to start sharing this book, write it down. And that's how that all started. So heavily spiritually influenced. However, when I was writing the book, I didn't want to put too much spiritualism in there, because if someone's not a spiritualist, that may put them off the book. And thinking of it as a business, because you have to, it was my first book. So if I came running out the gate with, that's it, I'm a spiritualist, the end, it would have maybe put a lot of people off. But I found that when I was writing the book, spiritualism was a heavy part of my life, so I couldn't leave it out. So therefore it had to go in the book. And there's even a line in there that says, if that means that you're going to take this book back to the shop, then this book isn't for you. And I actually put that in there. So I do talk about spiritualism in the thread within the book, and it wasn't necessarily on purpose. However, for book number 2, my bestseller book, Conversations with the Dead, I actually received lots of feedback from the first book. It just blew up, and I received so many emails and messages. Your book has helped me. I've stopped drinking. I've started my own business, all these positive things. But everyone kept saying, we want to know more about your spiritual upbringing. So I was quite taken back by that. And that's why I then done the prequel book, which was growing up, being sensitive to the spirit world in a Catholic household, and how that spiritualism was then affected by my drink and drug addiction. And so therefore that second book was heavily based with spiritualism, because that's what they asked for. That's what everyone was asking to know more about. By the third book, which is actually a thriller book and another segment of my life, there's only a small amount of spiritualism, but it's still in there because obviously I am a spiritualist and I do spiritual practices. So it's still in the thread of the book.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Wonderful. You're absolutely right. You know, you do things based on earthly means, but then you find that because there is this preconception that we are obsessed with talking to the dead, when in actual fact, when you become a spiritualist, we find that we're actually obsessed with life. And so by what you did with book 1 and then book 2, you demonstrated that, which is why, you know, book 2 became, you know, mega. For everyone who might be interested in having a read of that, what is book 2 in? Obviously you've given us a name and we could guess, but what did writing that book mean to you?
All my books are obviously very meaningful, but this book was me actually documenting my journey, my personal spiritual awakening, my spiritual journey and growth, which for me is priceless. As cheesy as that sounds, but it really is, because it's really had me thinking, well, when did this actually start? And I had to start putting it into an order, dates, times, then what happened. And it really gets you looking at your whole life from a different perspective, really. And it was interesting for me seeing that it was always there and how I always got thrown into it. I mean, I'd done my first reading at the age of 13 years old, and no training, no anything. People just knew that I was the strange girl. So it was almost thrusted upon me. And it's really interesting seeing my journey from, I mean, I won't ruin the ending of the book for anyone, but it really is a bumpy ride. And seeing how that's affected by the drink and drugs is very interesting to a lot of people. And it's also, there's going to be a very niche market out there of readers who may have gone through something similar, or maybe going through those dark times, which it can be very traumatic in itself. When you mix the spiritualism or earthbound spirits with drink and drug addiction, it is not a good outcome. So hopefully it will help those people that need to hear or read or reach out to me for support with that as well, which is what it has done. So
yeah. Can I ask, do you feel that being spiritual, your spiritual side, spiritualism, helped pull you out of those dark times? Or was it more towards the end that you kind of leaned into that spiritual side?
Oh, right. My book's a very honest book, so I'm going to give you my honest, truthful answer. Let the chips fall where they may. So, if it wasn't for spiritualism, I would still be drinking. I would still be drinking. I would still be taking drugs. People laugh at me because I say that when I went into rehab, it ruined my drinking. They're like, isn't that what it's supposed to do? I'm like, no. I'm like, no, everything was fine until things started changing after that. But when I drink, towards the end, when I drink or drank, past tense, when I drank alcohol, I completely lost the plot the next day. I was not on this planet. I was bombarded with negative energies. I was petrified. I couldn't even leave my room. And that was due to the effects of my spiritual side meeting my addicted side. So therefore, if it wasn't for spiritualism, I would still be drinking. I would find an excuse. I'm very honest. I'd find an excuse to have that one drink, or maybe it's a Friday night, maybe it's a special occasion, and I probably wouldn't be alive now. It was amazing that I made it to the age of 30. All doctors predicted that I would not make it to that age. By the age of 16, I was told that I'd done that much damage that I couldn't drink anymore because I damaged my organs before they'd fully grown properly. So spiritualism saved me in that way. Definitely.
Can I ask an offbeat question? And I don't know where people's beliefs lie with this. This is kind of putting it out there, okay? Do you feel that this side of your life, the drinking, the drugs, had anything to do with any of your past lives?
That's a very interesting question. Very interesting question, because I've been talking about karmic energy to some of my friends. and talking about some of the horrible experiences that I've gone through on this earth plane that a lot of them I haven't shared in my books actually. And I've wondered whether I was the baddie in another life, and whether this is me then going through that experience to try and see what it's like on the other side. So the drink and the drugs, do I think that that may have carried through? Maybe.
It's interesting.
Are you sitting on the fence, or are you just holding your cards close to your chest? Out of curiosity, because I'll be honest with you, I'm the way you're describing it kind of feels very much aligned with how I would feel about that kind of situation. Glenda and I have discussed it, so she knows that we have, I would say, slightly different viewpoints on reincarnation. So it's not going to come as a surprise, because I'm a gobby what's it, and I put my and it's not that I dismiss reincarnation in any way, shape, or form. I don't. I just have a different view of it. But do you? So let's generalize this a bit more. Do you ever feel? Sorry. Do you ever feel the need at any particular point to guard some of the experiences you've had or your feelings, or are you just completely, at a stage based discussing that with you? Are you now, stuff it, I'll say what I need to say, or do you still have that need to hold back a bit?
It's not, to answer that fairly, it's not that I have the need to hold anything back. I mean, once you do get around to reading my books, I share stuff that makes me look terrible. Nothing paints me in a good light, because I'm so honest. It's the thoughts, the inner thoughts you don't even share with your best friend, because you're like, gosh, they're going to judge me for that. But there's a couple of small, tiny elements of anything to do with my life that maybe affect other people a lot more than they affect me, that are not mine completely to share. That's the truthfulest answer I can give for that. But for everything else, I'm just, here they are, this is me. Perfect.
You are a beautiful soul, and looking at the comments, and I have to agree with everybody, that was precisely the answer any half decent soul with half a brain cell would want to hear. And it truly reflects your learning, your development, and your growth, and it will certainly, from my perspective, show your ability to help people, because yes, I'm going to go you are aware of your mistakes, but I think every
It's just playing up, Nick.
Okay. Right. Okay. Anyone watching and reading the comments, and from my own personal perspective, you're probably a little bit hard on yourself, because you are doing everything that any decent person would. You've been through this horrendous time. You've made some mistakes. You'd be a fool to convince yourself that nobody makes mistakes, and you're doing something beautiful with it. So, as I said when we first met, and now I say it with even more gusto, more power to your elbow and wrist, because it's amazing what you're doing. And I know everyone's making comments. Please get your questions in for Bryony as well. This is your show as much as it is ours. If you want to know some nitty-gritty, we will ask you questions of Bryony, because bless her heart, she's sitting here and bearing her soul for us all to, and it feels really bad to pick it apart, but I want to know you, and I feel that that's probably what the books do. It reveals some of you, but it also makes people want to know more.
Yeah.
And that is what makes them successful. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly agrees with me. It's nice to know somebody does. So thank you, Kelly. Kelly says, well, and see, people agree. Do you find that because I know a lot of people, like asking for a friend, know a lot of people who get criticized for being a little bit too hard on themselves in spite of their growth. Do you feel that that's something that you're perhaps still working on?
Oh, no. No.
Oh, I love it.
I have to, I'm the type of person who writes lists, who writes timelines, who does my manifestations. I'm looking at my fridge right now and it's got my goals, it's got my 5-year plan, my 10-year plan. I'm constantly analysing and looking at what I've done, where I am and how far I've moved forward. And I don't have any regrets in life. Really, honestly, I do not have any regrets in life, and I wouldn't change anything about my past because everything's brought me to the person I am today. And I don't feel like I am too hard on myself. Something I actually shared with someone the other day, and this will be the first time I've shared this publicly, is I actually relapsed 3 years ago. And that's I feel a bit emotional saying that. That's part of recovery. You can relapse. Sorry,
Sorry,
I'm a sec.
Yeah.
But the period between those relapses are so long now, when the periods between them at the start may have been 1 week. So actually, I've forgiven myself that relapse. When it first happened, I hated myself for about 2 weeks after. And I've learned from it. That's all I can actually say. Is I might be a bit emotional now because it's something I've been holding in for a while. I've just shared it with maybe the world. But if
Indeed.
I can't be honest, how can I expect other people to be honest? And how can I be sharing this honesty ethos between my books that's about letting people know your faults and that we are all just human and we are all imperfectly perfect. So, yeah.
You are just so inspiring. I tell you what, hats off to you. Can I say, you own your stuff without swearing. You own it. And there's a difference with living in the story and the story owning you, but you've stepped outside where you've got to a point where you can tell your story, but the story is not owning you. There's this, do you get what I mean? There's so many people that can tell their story, but they're still living in their story. You have managed to step aside and got so far in your healing journey that you can tell your story. Do you know what I mean? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I've like hats off to you. Like, you know, you are only going to be your hardest critic when you fall off the wagon, when you do those sort of things. But you know, you've got so far. You've done so well. Like, you've accomplished. You're still here. You're with us, and that is the biggest accomplishment. So I'm just like in awe of you. Like, well done.
Thank you. It does seem to be that all of my experiences are helping others to heal. I've had so many people contact me, and they contact me through other avenues of where books may be on sale. And I actually phone them up when they ask me to contact them. I'm like, oh, should I withhold my number? What if this is a strange person? Because I have had stalkers in the past. And I phone them up and they tell me how my books have changed their lives. And it happens at just the right time. I'm like, yeah, let's carry on doing what we're doing, because it is quite hard to find the time when, I mean, I work mostly 7 days a week, 3 evenings a week as well, which is to actually live that is actually quite hard as well. But I'm working on my 4th book at the moment. And I thought, I'm going to write another thriller book. They had other ideas for me. I was like, yep, going to write another thriller. It's going to be brilliant because it's a bigger genre. I can reach more people. And I started writing my book, and boom, I'm writing a book about healing. And every chapter I'm writing is about a long-term illness or condition for mind, body, and spirit. I'm like, so they've got other ideas for what I'm actually doing, but and everyone that I've reached out to and said, actually, my next book's not going to be about this. It's actually going to be a book purely about healing. And they're all like, boom, that's what I need.
Yes.
Here.
So,
from my part, thank you for sharing that, Bryony. It means an awful lot in my personal life at the moment. We've had some questions, but what I will say is a very dear friend of mine who wasn't as successful at fighting their demons did say to me one beautiful piece of advice, which I think everybody in the world needs to hear at least once. But if I may say, you have embodied it. It might be easy to fall off the wagon, but constantly climbing back up and never allowing yourself to stay off it is the hard part. And that shows true courage and strength. So bless you. And thank you for being so honest about that, because it's easy to see people, you know, on a screen and have some disassociation from reality because we're these distant little pixels. But to know that people like yourself who write these books and do what you do to try and help people are human and perfectly imperfect, which is a beautiful way of putting it. It makes a difference to people's lives. It really, really does. And we need to do more of that, as well as healing. Now, Dawny has asked a very, very good. Yeah. So we've got a question from Dawny among others. So what we're going to do is have a little bit of tarot scope from the beautiful Kate May. And when we come back, we are going to be putting your questions to the beautiful Bryony. So Glenda, as my fellow host, I've already said the Rolls ET line once. It's your turn now. So what's Richard got to do?
Roll 'em, Richard.
Oh, I love that.
Good morning and welcome to this week ahead tarot readings for each zodiac sign. Okay, I have no idea what even day it is. I've been away for the week and I actually don't know what day it is. I think it's the 10th. I think it's the 10th of July week. Okay, let's have a look. Aries, Wheel of Fortune, Aries. This indicates that things are going to get moving for you. Fabulous. Things are going to start to shift. There is change in the air, but this is a positive change. Excuse my nails, they need doing. I've been away. So Aries, you have got things moving fast this week. Now, whatever area in your life, there is a positive change. So things that might have gone down are now going to start to go up. There's going to be an increase in learning, an increase of perhaps study, knowledge, but in a real positive way. Things are going to start taking a good shift. So be aware of movement and change. Taurus, it's time to speak your truth, the Queen of Swords. Something is bugging you, Taurus, something is in your mind that you need to get off your chest. This will help clear the air. This will help break you free from things that are just going round and round circles in your mind, things that are a bit cloudy. Sometimes people don't like to hear the truth, but this week, Taurus, it is needed to clear the air. Gemini, victory and success. You're reaching positive milestones this week, Gemini. You've got lots more to do, lots more to achieve, but this week you're going to start to see the results of your hard work paying off, and people around you are going to start to enjoy those with you. Cancer, the Justice card. There could be some legal things going on this week for you, Cancer, or things where an important decision is finally going to be made. Justice is served. Speak your truth and hear the truth. Be accountable for actions. Could be connections to legal or important documents, Cancer. Leo, a little bit of battle going on for you this week, Leo. Try to step away from the drama. Don't get involved with other people's stuff. There's lots of opinions floating around. Listen to them, pay attention to what they're saying, but try not to get too involved. Step back where you can. And if you're battling with your mind, it's easier said than done, but try and just detach that and think about other things. Virgo, the Lovers. Choices and decisions is a big card, major card. There's this Virgo, there's choices and decisions coming up for you and your partner this week. Things that you'll need to discuss and air that's going to affect both of you, not necessarily in a bad way, but things that you're deciding. If you're single, you might find, Virgos, that you meet the one this week. If you are in a relationship, there's either discussions or there's things that could go even deeper. Okay, Scorpio, no, Libra, Four of Cups. You might be feeling a bit bored this week. You might be feeling a bit fed up or discontented. While you're saying no to lots of things, Libra, keep an ear open, because one thing will float your boat. One thing will just make you think, maybe I will. And that's the one you've got to say yes to, so you don't miss out on an opportunity. Scorpio, keep battling on. Things have been difficult for you, but you are winning the battle. You might feel that you're up against everyone and everything all the time, but keep going on. Hold your own, stand your ground, and you will win the battle. You'll overcome obstacles. Sagittarius, the devil. Try not to over obsess about things. Ask yourself, are you being conflicted? Are you being controlled? Is there any toxic behavior around you? What needs to break free, Sagittarius? What is holding you back? What is consuming you to the point of an unhealthy situation? Only you know. Anything to do with controlling or manipulative behavior, we need a change in the air. We need to break free from that. There is a choice with this card, Sagittarians. Ask yourself, are you happy in a position that you're in, or do you want to break free before you get bogged down with it or overwhelmed with it? Capricorn, Wheel of Fortune, things are moving full circle for you. Loose ends are being tied up and there is a spring in your step. You are ready to look forward. You are ready to take everything that you've known from the past into this new chapter. Could be holidays coming up for you, Capricorns, but a leap of faith and a whole new chapter is on the horizon. Aquarius, the penny dropping moment. You can see the bigger picture now. You've had the awakening, or you're going to get the awakening this week. You're going to get clarity. You're going to get that aha moment. You're going to be able to see, oh, I get it now. There is a big relief and a big wake-up call coming to take you on your right journey. Getting it there, Aquarius. How amazing. And Pisces, your own card, the moon. Trust your intuition, Pisces. All may not be as clear as what you think it is. Perhaps people are maybe playing tricks on you, or perhaps that's your mind. Is it people or is it you? You're going to have to be really sensitive this week and go into your inner self. Trust your deep feelings. Look out for little psychic signs as well. You might see feathers in random places. You might see butterflies or robins or angel numbers. Look out for spiritual guidances around you. But all is not clear, so there is a need for you to have a little bit of extra psychic help, but also trust your gut feeling. Thanks for watching. Kate May.
We're back. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that Kate May's Tarot has offered you a little bit of insight and guidance into what's coming up for the rest of this week for you. I know I always look forward to seeing what is in line for a Scorpio. So the lovely Kate there, thank you so much. Well, me and my lovely new best friend, Glenda, are back with the lovely new best friend, literally the best friend you could have today, Bryony, talking about her work and her books. Now, we've got some questions, and then there's a little bit of a surprise coming up for everybody watching too in a little while. But Dawny has asked, how far into the spiritual way did you get before you stopped drink? If you don't mind me asking, how much did you drink daily?
No, I don't mind her asking. Drinking, when I was actually drinking daily, I would probably go for about 3 bottles of whiskey a day and whatever shots and drinks I drank in between that. It was quite a bit of a standing joke, really. When I went into rehab, I was quite young. I was 21 when I first went into rehab, and there was lots of quite, let's call them hardened drinkers in there, older people, red faces, and they're like, what's a pretty little thing like you doing in here? What do you possibly have going on? And when you say, oh, you're in there for the drink, because that's predominantly was my biggest issue, and they're like, what could you possibly drink? And it was almost like a little, you had to prove yourself in a way. And it was interesting that most of the people that were in there would usually drink 8 to 12 cans of lager a day, and I'd be like, I could drink a bottle of Jack Daniels in 20 minutes. So at the time I was drinking a lot, but it just stabilized me because I've been drinking for so long. It just literally made me function normally without vomiting blood at the time. As for my spiritualism, how far did I get with it? So my drinking continued, but there was dips and troughs where it was obviously worse, should I say, or when I was drinking more or doing drugs more. When I was doing spiritualism from a very young age, you can actually read about it in my second book, how I started getting mentored almost from a very young age by a wonderful medium called Dave, Psychic Dave, I know, very creative name that we had for him. And I started learning properly when I was about 24, I would say. But I was still going to the spiritual church. I was going to the Temple of Spiritualism actually in Portsmouth, and sometimes Five Ash at Fratton. So I was still going to the temples, and all of them were telling me that I should actually be up there doing it. My friends would come to me for readings, but I never had any professional training until I was probably about the age of 24, where I actually started my development at the Temple of Spiritualism. And then I was invited to do some training. I went to a workshop. I was invited to a group with Paul Sissel, and I stayed with him for about 3 years learning as well. So I was heavy drinking through most of it. It's only towards the end where my drinking then got to a point where I would stop drinking in the mornings, and then I stopped drinking on the evenings, and then it went just to the weekends. So there was a calming down period with the drink, and that's when I increased my spiritualism and reduced my drink. And then unfortunately my Friday night stayed with me for a long time until I finally had to nip that in the bud and go completely sober. So, and obviously you shouldn't really drink and take drugs if you're going to be doing spiritualism and giving people guidance. That is something I was taught at Paul's group. That might sound silly, but because I took drugs all day, every day, I didn't look at it as an extra curriculum or an extra activity. I just looked at it as what I do in life, the same as eating bread or drinking a cup of tea is normal. It was normal for me. But I remember someone came in once and they'd been taking Valiums for muscle relaxants for back pain. And I used to pop about 20 Valiums a day at the time because I was giving up the drink. And he said that he shouldn't really be doing it. And I thought, oh, I need to really reduce this then if I'm really going to make my spiritualism grow as well. So I know there's not a clean answer of it stopped here, started there, or I started spiritualism there. Spiritualism's always been in my life, but the spiritualism and my commitment increased as my drinking decreased. I think that's a safer way to say it.
So it was more like filling the cup with water so that it went underneath the oil, and as the water increased, the oil dribbled out the top. And it kind of, would it be fair to say forced it out or helped?
Yeah, it forced it out. If I wasn't a spiritualist and I didn't have any abilities or I wasn't sensitive to the spirit world, I would still drink. That's a horrible thing to say, but I'm at the point where I could admit that. I would definitely drink. Absolutely. Or I wouldn't be here, one or the other.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being vulnerable. Yeah, and sharing all of this.
Definitely. I completely agree with Dawny, who says, wow, thank you so much for your honesty. And this is the important bit. It shows that there is hope for anyone who is struggling with the drink. You are an inspiration. And I totally agree with that. And I would add, although my experiences in life are different, of course, to yours, that the comment about alcohol and drugs affecting mediumship, I struggled with depression for a long time in my life, and at one point during my development I was on beta blockers. And it really did change the mediumship, and it was almost like I was drunk on them. And it really did affect my behavior, my attitude, and my work. So I completely agree with what you're saying, and I have some small knowledge in a tiny experience in comparison that validates everything you've just said about how alcohol and drugs really don't mix, like the oil and water analogy. So thank you for that. And I know there's been a number of comments in support. I know there was a comment there from Eunice. You are something else. And again, I will say, there we go. Eunice Spink says, Bryony is something else, amazing, inspirational. Long may you continue on your path. And I totally agree. Rebecca says, bless you, you're a warrior. Oh yes, absolutely.
And did you see Mama Brown also?
Mama Brown has got a question. Yes. Would you like to ask it on her behalf? Because it feels like nepotism, me asking my own mother's questions.
Mama Brown would like to know how your health is now.
Oh, that's a very broad question. There's a reason.
Has there been, long-term effects? Is there
from the drink and drugs? Yes, I've had ongoing stomach conditions. I'm in and out of hospital for stomach ulcers. From the drinking drugs. I think I've had many occasions where I've ended up in the doctors and maybe not been given the help I've needed because of the drinking drugs as well. And they look at it as, I can go in there with a bad leg. I'm going back a little while now. I went in with a bad leg, something was going on with my knee, and all they wanted to do was do a blood test and check my bloods, because obviously it says on there alcoholic, stuff like that. So it's hard to sometimes advocate for yourself, because it's almost like you're this dirty little thing that's sat there that actually put all this on themselves. And I've sat there before and poured my heart out to a doctor about a lot of my medical conditions. So I do have a lot that are ongoing. And they've said in not so many words, well, this is what happens when you've actually been most alcoholics find that
You're
actually this
labelled.
happens. And yeah, and I think my health now compared to what it was is amazing. Don't get me wrong. Thinking of the drink and drugs, not my other stuff that I've got going on. But for the first 5-6 years, it was not such a fun ride. Being sober and having so many issues and conditions, and not just the physical ones, it was the mental health ones as well. I was vomiting up to 6-7 times a day. It affected I've got IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, so it affected that greatly. I literally was having breakdowns. I was losing my mind. I'd never lived in the world sober for 20 odd years or however long it was. So therefore my health was really bad. But if you look at my health from the drink drugs now, it's the stomach condition. But apart from that, actually, I'm not doing too bad.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Let's talk a little bit about the other side of you, the teacher side of you, the lady that's getting out to the schools and the communities and spreading the love and the healing. You want to share something about that?
Yes, certainly. So when I was at school, there was no intervention for drink and drug abuse or anything like that. There was the campaign of the posters, say no to drugs, and that was pretty much about it. But I was actually invited to Haylen Island College to facilitate a session on early intervention for drink and drugs. And I had up to 30 odd children per group. And literally as one group left through one door, another group came in from the other. And I created this session, and being an ex-teacher and trainer, I found it very easy to obviously compromise having the skills from the past, to really do a hard-hitting session about actually what do I want the children to come out with this with. And it was about local knowledge. What's your toolbox? What can you do to recognize the signs in someone else, and what can you then do about it? What are you going to do? Because you can recognize that your friend's got a mental health condition, but what are you then doing with that information? So that's what I really wanted them to come to leave my classroom, if you want to call it with. And at the end of one of the groups, a young girl came up to me and she said, my mum drinks too much. Now that's what it was all about, is helping those people. There's a lot of them that didn't have a clue what I was going on about, and thank God that they didn't, because it means that they're not being exposed to this type of issues and tissues. So that was really good. I've also been put in contact with the Positive Living Group of Portsmouth, who want me to put me in contact with Portsmouth College. So I've put my services out there and said, look, I will come into schools, I will come into colleges, I will go into even secondary schools and do early intervention for drink and drug addiction, because I think it's really important, and it's something that's never there. There's a need for it. So
absolutely.
That side of it fills my heart with joy. It really does, because they need
100% agree with you. I notice, like having a teen myself, and being in secondary school here, all teenagers want to do is drink. That's all they want to do, drink. I mean, we all went through it when we were, in those days, and drink it, but they don't understand, I guess, the mixing the drink and the alcohol, how dangerous it can be, and having someone like yourself go in and explain, look what can happen. Look, like we need more of it. So well done.
Thank you.
Definitely. Miranda Clark asked a really, really good question that just passed through a moment ago. What along the way of your journey, what type of encouragement did you find from Spirit?
Spirit put lots of things in my path that I chose to ignore as a alcoholic and drug addict. I never turned my back on spiritualism. It was still always there. I was still dabbling, but there's probably lots of help that they put down for me that I wasn't ready to accept. So I was ignorant and I ignored it. But one of the really interesting things, and it's only when you come through a situation you can then understand, like the being cruel to be kind situation. The amount of times I sat in church screaming in my head to my guides, to the spirits above, saying, if this stuff that's going on is anything to do with any type of spiritualism, just let me know and I'll be okay. Just let me know, just say, give me one sign, one word. And guess what? They never did. They never gave me one inkling. It was not until I went to that development group that I then started getting some more answers at the Temple of Spiritualism in Portsmouth. However, if they had given me that answer, would I then have ended up at Cavendish House? Would they then have threatened to section me? Would they then have said to me, do you know what? We need you to go to this development group. No idea what the spiritualism's about. And then I would never have ended up there to start with. So if they had have interfered, I wouldn't have been on the path that I ended up on. But at the time, I was screaming, crying, shaking. I mean, I can talk about it now and I can keep a straight face. I'm not crying or a heap on the floor. But those years when I thought that I was going completely insane, and I thought that I was going to end up in St. James's with my brother-in-law working there, and that I was half in this world and half not in this world. It was the most petrifying time of my life, more scary than being led in hospital by myself thinking I was about to die with no one around me, which has happened when I was 21 and had a drug-induced heart attack. That was scarier, and they never interfered. They never helped me, and I was so angry about that at the time. But guess what? It was the right thing to do. Got me where I am today.
You know what, Bryony, thank you for... Look, I've spent the best part of a 25-year adventure of my own in spiritualism trying to explain the balance between personal responsibility, eternal progress, and free will. You have done it with just that answer. Thank you, because that's what I'm talking about. It really, really is amazing. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely... And the fact that you've gone through what you've gone through, recognize that, have experienced that, recognized it again, and are now taking it out to the world and not given an inch. Stunning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Did you want to answer? Our Stace Shaw has a question for you. Did you need to have any counselling to help you adjust from seeing the world and living sober after not being sober for so young and so long?
Excellent question. I'm afraid my answer will probably just give you more questions. So here goes. So I was in therapy from quite a young age. I got put into counselling or therapy. I can't even think how old I was now. I'd have to really sit down and figure it out. But I was a child, put it that way. So when I came off the drinking drugs and was in my recovery stage, yes, I got put forward for therapy because obviously I thought I was going mad. I was seeing things, hearing things. I was constantly vomiting. I was constantly shaking because my adrenaline was going. I was seeing dots. So they actually sent me to a therapist who, when I told them that what I was going through didn't feel normal to me, their actual response was, well, what would you know what was normal? You haven't been sober for so long. So I went to one therapist and then that put me off for a while. But then I left it a little while and I had 3 therapy sessions through Medicash through my old employer. But you know what? And I'd already started my healing journey though, but I'm going to go back to therapy and let's see what they can do to help me get me across the finish line, if you want to call it that. So I sat there, I went out, got the fair over the gospel. I'll never forget it. I sat there, I told my long, very sad story from start to finish. And I sat there waiting for the therapist answer, literally just looking at her like, and her exact response was, why are you smiling? And I said, because I'm a very happy person. And she went, I can't help you. That was her exact answer. So she literally threw money out of the door and said, I cannot help you. She went, for someone to go through what you've been through and to be functioning in society at the level that you're actually functioning at, she went, it'll do more damage to unpick what you've gone through than anything else. She went, I cannot help you. And she sent me out the door and I was flabbergasted, if I'm honest. Thought, she could have had £65 an hour off of me. And she just sent me on my merry little way because I freaked her out because I was smiling. Why am I happy? I was like, I'm a very happy person. So yeah, I did try, but yeah. But writing my books has been a good therapy as well because I've really had to put myself back in the moment and feel it. So that's been almost like a revisit. Sometimes you have to revisit something you feel you've already healed from and just keep going back to it. So that's helped, I suppose, as well.
Did you notice when you were in therapy and having counselling, when you brought up your spiritualism, they looked at you like you're a loony?
Yeah. I don't know one spiritualist who hasn't been diagnosed with a mental illness. That's quite common. But I was very, very lucky because even I, as someone who's a spiritualist, did not believe what I was going through with spiritualism because it was so dark and nasty and I was seeing things and horrible things. So this isn't what spiritualism feels like. So even I didn't think it was spiritualism. So for me to actually see a doctor, and have them say, his exact response was, you're dangerously overconfident, you have a God complex, And I don't really understand what the spiritualism is, but before we take the next steps, I want you to investigate this course thing that you keep talking about. And my response was, no, this isn't spiritualism. This is too dark for spiritualism. You're sending me away for 6 weeks to do what? But if he had not have done that, I would not have gone to the church and spoke about, to quote Nick, one of my friends who took drugs and saw things and heard things and And that's when I learned that actually when I was under the influence of drink and drugs, it was like having a party, the lights are on, the music's blaring, the front door was open, and I was inviting all those earth spirits in to mess with me. So that's when I was like, I really do need to cut down the drink and drugs, like properly. And that's when I started doing, so I just skyrocketed from there. So yeah, a bit of a long answer for you, but
yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, scary to think, how many people I could have ended up there. Lots of us could.
Indeed, definitely. Bryony, thank you so much. I think we're going to take a quick break now and have our adverts, and I hope you'll stay with us. We had better do some mediumship as well soon.
Do we have to work?
I know it's terrible, but we everyone deserves a message, I suppose. Well, somebody deserves a message, I'm sure. But Bryony, your honesty has been an absolute inspiration, and I know your words will have helped numerous people watching both now and in the future. And please keep writing for you and for us and the whole human race. Keep writing.
I will.
Get your message out there and never give an inch. Thank you. So we need to know what's going on in SPTV land coming soon, and sooner than you think. So it's time for some adverts. Bryony, would you like to say the magic words this time?
I don't know what the magic words are.
Roll VT.
Roll 'em, Richard?
That's it.
Roll 'em, Richard.
We're going to have to change it to that now. I like it.
My Spirit Life is a free online interactive magazine for those who have an interest in improving their spiritual lives. Authors can upload images, videos, and audio clips to their own articles. The public can place comments, rate the article, and follow the author. All articles are vetted before being published. For more information and to place your own article, please visit myspiritlife.co.uk.
MySpiritualDirectory.com is one of the fastest growing online free listing service. Our search directory offers geolocation feature, rating ability, review system, map location, customer comment, YouTube video, gallery, social media sharing, direct contact with the lister, simple online booking and payment system. It's free to register and use. It even creates your own mini web page, which you can update at any time, and yes, it's still free, no monthly or yearly fees. 100% free. Creates your own profile page. Add social media and other links. Add a mini gallery and a YouTube video. Rating, reviews and comments. Includes online booking and payments. So, if you're looking for a medium or a reader, even a church, maybe a healer, or any other spiritual service, then visit myspiritualdirectory.com.
Join Minty May live tonight from 8 p.m, offering tarot and mediumship readings to our viewers. Tomorrow from 6 p.m, SPTV Community Showcase offers our viewers the opportunity to have their own show, be it readings, their own thoughts and opinions, etc. Ellie Charles demonstrates her mediumship and divine inspiration from 8 p.m. tomorrow night.
The adverts are indeed incorrect, because tonight we have, of course, the beautiful Claire Pasterfield. So we just had some adverts. There was some information there that was of use. But yes, so it is, of course, Claire Pasterfield, not Minty May tonight. And there is no Deb Clark tomorrow again, but it's coming back soon. She's getting the internet sorted. And you know, that is really strange. That Claire Pasterfield, Heavenly
Hear you, Nick, but Deb Clark's having some internet issues. She's just moved house, so she won't be on. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you for that. And of course, we are back with the lovely Bryony, who, you know, did you say that you're oh, sorry. Oh, yes. Did you say earlier that you were interested in giving away one of your books to one of our viewers?
Why, yes, I did. I would love to give away one of my books to one of your viewers. In fact, I'd like to give away 2 books.
Wow. Beautiful.
Before we do, let's see who shared. How many people have shared?
Mm-hmm. So you thought you had it tough with me, Richard?
Yeah, he's cringing back there. We've got to make him work and tell us.
Bless him. So it's really, really kind of you to give away not 1 but 2 even of your books. That is beautiful. And you were saying, of course, earlier that you're opening it up to everyone who is watching, and we're gonna do a randomizer, and you're gonna pick 2 people, 2 books, and I think that's an amazing gift. So are we going to do the number system, Richard? We're just
putting the puppy dog in.
Oh yes, hello. Hello. Oh, beautiful. So are we going to do the number system like we do with giveaways, Richard? So we're basically, people are commenting. So if you want one, then you're going to have to obviously let us know. So please just post yes book. Just comment yes book, and then we can obviously go through the list. And Bryony, they're your books. You get to pick. I think is on. So you can. Whoever you feel drawn to, as the comments start coming up now.
Let me comment. Hang on. Let me comment. I want one. I want one of every one of them. I want all 3, 4.
Oh, we're getting the list sorted out. Just where can?
Yeah.
Talk about the books. So
where can we get them?
You can actually get the books locally from JK Wellness in Farlington or the bookshop in Fratton, the Bridge Shop. But also we do a lot of local events. I'm part of the Portsmouth Author Group Collective, and they do lots of markets at Love Southsea. So my books are usually there. You can usually see me dropping off and picking up, and sometimes I'm at the events as well. So I'll usually have a little chat with you if you're around. Or you can also follow my page and look at any events that I've got going on locally. I go to Mind, Body and Spirit events, and I've got some coming up. I've got next one, I think, is September. But you can also buy them anywhere online from any major retailer. But however, support local, support your local business. That's what I would rather. If it's
what about us
anyway.
Aussies? Where can us Aussies get your book? Amazon or is it?
You can buy it it's available in Australia. It's literally all over the globe. I have had sales in Australia. I think I had 23% of sales from America last month, I think it was. So yeah, you can actually get it in Australia. I'd love to see a photo of you with the book in Australia. I would love that. Yeah.
You're on.
Oh, brilliant.
I will get one.
No, that would be absolutely amazing. Yeah, definitely. I actually do talk about Australia in my second book, just because one of my characters or one of my friends is actually from Australia. And yeah, she's read the book. She's moved back to Australia now, but she's actually in the second book. She's a spiritualist as well. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Can I pick a number? Because I do that a lot with my instead of doing the energy on all the cards, I usually just go, give me a number, and they give me a number. 17.
So in the list, number 17 is Natalie Bentley.
Congratulations.
Natalie Bentley. Wonderful.
And a second number, 33.
33. And drum roll, please. 33 is coming up and will be...
Ooh.
He's just calculating the winner.
Yeah.
Number.
Richard.
And Dawny Walden.
Congratulations.
So Natalie Bentley and Natalie Bentley and Dawny Walden, you are the winners. So you will each get one of Bryony's beautiful books. And the reason it takes so long is because the number system we use, as soon as someone comments, it jumps. So Richard was making doubly sure that the right number that was picked, of course, by the lovely Bryony, got the book. And I know that they will both be going where they are desperately needed by spirit. And
I will sign them, and I'll pop in a free bookmark and a free keyring, matching keyring.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh.
Yeah. And are the bookmarks and key rings things can people buy as well once they're finished buying all your books?
They can do, actually. When I'm at events and also at the Bridge Bookshop in Fratton, they have hoodies, towels, mugs, key rings, you name it.
I want a mug.
Wow. Excellent stuff. Well, congratulations to Natalie and Dawny. And if you can let you, Richard, know the addresses? Yeah. Excellent. So Dawny and Natalie, if you can send an email to info@sptv.uk with your details, we can get them sent out to you. So again, congratulations to both of you. And certainly, again, thank you, Bryony, for a wonderful gift.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Really, absolutely stunning. Natalie says, looking forward to reading it. Thank you very much. And Dawny is definitely over the moon by her comment too. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hot kiss. And it's really, really important, I think. And I think what you and your work sums up is that we are real beings in a real world, living in real situations, and spiritualism can be of benefit if it is part of it, rather than, because there is a risk, in my opinion, there is a risk. I don't know what you two lovely ladies think. There can be a risk that we use spiritualism to replace our obsessions or our addictions, and it becomes all consuming and all encompassing and takes over rather than becoming a part of our life. Is that something that you experienced, or did you see it coming a mile off? Sorry, do you hear it?
Yeah. Barney, did you feel that you know, is trying to say there's, so many people that can use spiritualism as the niche, the crutch, or we can fall into that. We just lean into that, especially with grief. I think a lot of people can mask their grief or not deal with their healing. So that's where he was kind of going on that line. Is that what you were trying to say? Yeah.
I don't think that's really relevant to me, because with spiritualism, it's the same as me breathing. It's just part of everyday life. It's not something I necessarily focus on. But interestingly enough, when I did have a short time when I actually tried to not commune with my spirit guides as much and not be as spiritual or active in that world, I found that my energy didn't flow very well. Everything didn't go right. So I found that everything flows better when you're actually being spiritual, if you want to call it that. But I don't think of it as actively doing it or getting involved in it. It just is who I am. I'm the person who walks down the street and starts dancing with the trees, and I don't care who's looking at me. I start moving with the energy and the flow, and I'm there, and cars are beeping. I don't care. It's just who I am. So for me, it's not something I consciously do. So I don't think it's that relevant for me, that question.
No, brilliant.
And it's about when you're not doing it. For me, if I'm not doing it, I miss it. It's like there's a part of me missing. There's something missing here. So that
just feels right,
same
doesn't
thing.
it? Everything just feels right when I have a cabin in my garden where I do healing for people. I also teach small beginner courses for development, and the energy in there, I just sit there and just everything's right with the world, everything's perfect. There's not an angry thought in my head. And then I go out into everyday life and I'm like, so yeah, I wish I could just stay in that bubble sometimes, but you have to put it into practice, don't you? You have to let all those energies collide with what else is going on. But
be human.
Yeah.
Here. Thank you. Thank you. I if you can actually hear me now, or as someone put it, I'm not in my submarine anymore. Yes, Glenda, that's exactly what I meant. And Bryony, beautiful answer, by the way. Thank you. It's been really amazing talking to you today, because I know that it's a subject that I think Glenda summed it up right at the beginning. It's a subject that people don't really touch on or want to talk about, and yet when you do, you find that you're not alone, and that there is so much similarity and flow in our lives. And I know everyone at home has enjoyed it. Wendy Payne says such a beautiful show today. You know, it's been absolutely stunning talking to you. It really has.
Thank you.
So it's been so beautiful to have you on.
Good.
You're just a beautiful soul.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me onto your show. Hopefully more people will be helped by my books, or maybe they've just helped someone just by listening to the show this morning. So thank you for inviting me.
Pleasure. And you know, at the end of the day, this is available forever now. I'm getting in trouble now for anyone who can see that comment. My mum is telling me off for abandoning the conservatory. That's why I'm in a submarine. I usually work from a conservatory, but I'm working from home today. So, but yeah, it has been absolutely essential as a conversation, I think. Stace says it's been inspiring. Absolutely agree. And you know, we don't talk about these things enough. We really don't. We really don't. Wow, I am in awe. I think that's the thing about this way of life. It keeps doing that to you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Glenda, my lovely, do you think we ought to give some messages out?
Oh, I think so. I now have to get back into the groove. I was like fully relaxed in there, like having this conversation. I guess we can do some messages.
Yeah, some quick fire messages, just so Richard doesn't tell us off, you know, because we really mustn't upset him today, you know, because he will. I know
he loves. I must say, like I've said to my girlfriend, you've got to hear Richard. Like you have no idea what we hear in this.
You know what? I think the only reason that Richard keeps me around is because he enjoys telling me off, and I give him so many excuses. I'm going to
Oh,
say
very good.
Richard is this wonderful enigma. He really, really is, and there's very few people who actually can put the face to the name. And you know, of course, we've got to mention the SPTV is coming to on the 9th of September. Is coming to Littleport. SPTV is descending upon my home village. The wonderful Glenda-Marie, the lovely David Hale, the gorgeous Bill Hughes, and the stunningly enigmatic Richard. And you know what? Of that wonderful lineup of media, the first thing that someone said to me was, does that mean I get to see what Richard looks like?
Richard will be there. You want to come and meet Richard? You've got to come to our event.
Richard or Glenda or Bill or David, and of course myself, I will definitely be there. The 9th of September, a demonstration of media